It rains here 270 days a year. Roofs rust, walls rot, and yet the people who live here call it paradise. Not the poetic kind of rain, the kind that seeps through coats, films everything in moisture, and blurs the edges of every color. The light here doesn't cut. It seeps like everything else, as if the whole town lives inside a cloud. You don't check the forecast in Hilo, Hawaii. You just assume the sky will weep. Elsewhere, rain means cancellations, beach days ruined, barbecues drowned. Here, the weeping sky is just Tuesday. Footsteps don't click on the pavement. They thud, the sound swallowed before it can echo. Even laughter feels muted, wrapped in dampness. And the air smells faintly of iron and soil, like the earth opening up to drink. Tourists chase the sun across the other islands, the logical move. But thousands stay in Hilo, where the sky forgets how to be clear. They choose to stay. Something keeps them rooted. Locals say if you wait for the rain to stop before doing something, you'll never do it at all. So they don't wait. They live through it. Maybe that's the secret here. When you stop fighting the weather, the world begins to reveal itself. But what builds a culture where surrendering to water becomes a way of life? That's where Hilo's story truly begins. A local farmer named Kaleo laughs when people ask how he knows when to plant. I don't look at dates, he says. I look at the rain. In most places, rain interrupts life. Here, Kaleo has learned to read it like a calendar. He says you can tell when it's coming, when the air feels thick enough to drink. His instinct is physics. Every drop begins far out in the Pacific, where the trade winds sweep in warm, wet air. That air climbs the slopes of Mauna Kea, a mountain so vast it acts like a wall in the sky. As the air rises, it cools, and the invisible vapor condenses, forming clouds so dense they become the town itself. This cycle doesn't break. It strengthens. By the time the system reaches Hilo, the rain is relentless. It's called orographic lift, but in Hilo, it might as well be called life. Because the system never turns off. Hilo doesn't wait for forecasts. It already knows. The rhythm is predictable as a heartbeat. Kaleo doesn't fight it. He times his life to it. And the same philosophy shapes the town itself. Walk through downtown and you'll notice the small gestures. Roofs sloped like shields, gutters broad and deep, overhangs linking shopfronts so you can walk the whole block without opening an umbrella. Even the sidewalks are carved with narrow grooves, drainage channels running parallel to the streets, guiding water toward the storm drains, the same way Kaleo's taro fields do. Here, architecture and farming speak the same language. Both are designed to move with water, not against it. No one calls it extreme. It's just how Hilo breathes. If the rain never left, would you still call it weather? Or a way of life? In Hilo, nothing stays new for long. Fresh paint fades within a year. Iron fences bloom with orange freckles. Even stainless steel forgets its name. Locals call it the corrosion tax. Not official, but everyone pays it. The price of living inside a cloud. Cars here dissolve from the bottom up. Roofs fade back to orange faster than paint can dry. One mechanic laughs. You don't own metal in Hilo. You borrow it from the air. And yet, people keep polishing, painting, fixing. It's part of the rhythm. Hardware stores move more primer than groceries. Painters never run out of work. A man might coat his roof on Monday and see the first orange freckles by Christmas, and he'll shrug, already planning the next coat. Some mornings, a silver haze drifts along the streets, a film of moisture so fine it tricks your eye into thinking the asphalt is slick with oil. It isn't. It's just water, resting between rains. The battle against decay is fought in silence. A mother drying walls with fans after a night storm, knowing by Tuesday the damp will return. A cafe owner oiling hinges so her door opens smooth for the morning rush. Fishermen patching the same boats their fathers patched. Work never finished, always continuing. But there's humor in it too. People here joke that rust is the island's national color. A little orange, a little patience. It's just how things breathe in Hilo. This isn't a story of surrender. It's a portrait of endurance. Every brushstroke of fresh paint is a small act of rebellion, a way of saying, we'll stay anyway. And when the rain starts again, and it always does, they don't sigh. They listen. Because somewhere inside this endless upkeep, there's a lesson the rest of the world hasn't learned yet. There's a woman in Hilo who paints only when it rains. Locals call her Lehua, same name as the flower that blooms after lava. Her canvases stay outside on the porch, unguarded. Drops fall where they will, streaking pigment, softening edges. She says the rain finishes what she starts. Tourists stop and ask if she's worried about the water ruining her work. She just smiles. If it can't survive the rain, it isn't from here. Neighbors tease that she's the only person who checks the forecast hoping for storms. But when you watch her, brush moving slow, sky reflected in puddles, you begin to see it. The rain isn't just weather. It's collaboration. Every stroke, every drop, an act of faith that what's washed away can also be reborn. Lehua paints in the rain. But her choice isn't unique. It's just the most visible version of something Hilo has learned. To bend with the rain, not against it. When the first drops fall, something shifts, not in the buildings, but in the rhythm of life itself. People step out of the rain, yet they don't hurry, they linger. Conversations that would have ended migrate inside to cafe tables. Parked cars sit longer at curbs, drivers watching the downpour instead of rushing to the next errand. A 20-minute coffee chat stretches into 90. No one seems to mind. In Hilo, the clock loosens its grip. The town slows, not because it must, but because it wants to. Drips off awnings become metronomes. The sound of rainfall seeps into the body's own timing, steady and forgiving. Tourists notice it first. They arrive expecting inconvenience, but end up mesmerized, tracing droplets down glass like locals do. Locals just nod. They built their days around this long ago. You can feel rain time even in small gestures. Baristas waiting until thunder fades before calling an order. Teachers pausing lessons mid-sentence as if the rain itself deserves attention. No one forces the stillness. It arrives naturally, like breath returning after a held moment. Some shops keep extra stools near the door for strangers caught mid-storm. Hardware clerks lean on counters, chatting while roofs drum overhead. It's not lost time, it's shared time. Here, patience isn't a virtue, it's a weather pattern. And somewhere in this rhythm, this willingness to slow, to listen, to let time breathe, there's something that changes people. The rain isn't interruption, it's invitation. In most places, people wait for the weather to end. In Hilo, they build their days around it. Rain isn't interruption, it's rhythm. It seeps into memory, into design, into the very bones of how this town stands. Homes here rise on stilts, lifted above the soaked ground like boats waiting for tide. Walls are built with open slats that breathe, not seal, to keep the air moving so the mold can't claim it first. Roofs stretch wide with deep overhangs, not to escape the rain, but to channel it, into gutters that feed cisterns, into barrels that store what the sky gives back. Nothing here fights the rain. Every line, every joint bends with it. And the people who live among these buildings have learned the same language. Weddings pause when showers arrive. Not from fear, but something like reverence. Couples and guests step back under cover, watching the rain soak the ground. It's considered a blessing, the island itself offering witness. Festivals follow the same rhythm. The Merry Monarch Festival, Hilo's most beloved, begins only after the heaviest rains, when the island feels rinsed and renewed, as if the sky itself has prepared the stage for dance. Even the city's sidewalks speak the same design, narrow grooves carved into concrete, guiding the runoff toward the sea, a small echo of the way Hilo itself channels its endless weather back into balance. And the sound of rain follows through everything. Slack-key guitarists here tune their strings to echo the rhythm of drops on tin roofs, not imitating the weather, but conversing with it. Even the language carries it. Words for cloud, mist, drizzle, dozens of shades of rain, used without thought. The weather has become the vocabulary. Many leave in their 20s, chasing dry skies or steady sunlight. But years later, they return, not to nostalgia, but to something they'd forgotten. The quiet peace of a place that never stops moving, even when it stands still. Hilo has learned not just how to live with the rain, but how to build with it. What would you create if rain defined your world? There's a word in Hawaiian that doesn't translate cleanly. Maluhia, peace, but not the fragile kind that depends on calm. It's the kind that survives inside motion, the quiet that lives within the storm. By now, the sound of rain feels less like weather more like heartbeat. You start to hear the tempo of it. On rooftops, on leaves, in the distance between thunder and the ocean's low reply. Hilo breathes in that rhythm. The people don't resist it. They rest inside it. Lehua paints through it still. Her brush moves with the downpour, not around it. Each stroke a negotiation between control and surrender. And maybe that's the lesson this place has been offering all along. That peace isn't found when the rain stops, but when you stop needing it to. In most cities, people talk about escaping the storm. Here, they talk about reading it. How to know when the sky is only speaking, not warning. Children are taught to listen to the pitch of the roof's percussion, to tell a passing drizzle from a true downpour. Even comfort here is practical, earned through familiarity, not avoidance. At night, the whole town glows soft behind curtains of mist. Streetlights bloom into halos. The air hums with that low, endless drizzle that never quite ends, a lullaby no one tries to turn off. For outsiders, it looks like monotony. For those who've stayed, it's something else. Rhythm, memory, prayer. The same water that blurs the horizon also sharpens the sense of belonging. Maybe that's maluhia, not a world without storms, but a life built inside them. A way of standing still while the sky moves through you. Because in Hilo, peace isn't the absence of rain. It's the sound of it continuing, and knowing you belong in the middle of it.